he faced somebody always. He faced his own fears and give him credit for that. That's not make this guy a zero on the radar blimp. That would be a travesty.
Right.
That would be inaccurate. He faced, I mean, he was scared, like I just told you. You know, walking up there, hearing those bongo drums, everything else. I mean, you know, being in a car, wishing you get a flat tire, he felt those things too. But he still went in there. He still fought. His problem was magnified by a curse, power. His great power, punches are born, they're not made. That
is true. They're born.
They're born, they ain't made. And he was born to have power. So the rest of it he had to find on his own, the other power. So, you know, a lot of times before he could get to that place, bang, he had that power and he didn't have to get to that place.
Okay.
He could always escape. There was always a parachute waiting for him, and it was the power to get him off that plane. And so he didn't have to build those qualities. He didn't have to look the devil in the eye, you know, because he knew he could get rid. But the times when his power wasn't enough, like with Holyfield.
Yeah.
And his intimidation. He knew how to play that.
He was good at that.
Oh, good at it. I had him in the Junior Olympics in Colorado at the Air Force Base for the Nationals, his first national tournament. And he knew what to do. We were at the weigh-in. Everyone's looking at him. The other kids have acne. They're goofy, you know. And here.
That's from the streets of Brownsville.
Yeah, he knew what to do, and he's doing it. He knew it. I'm laughing to myself. I said, "Look at this." And next thing you know, there's a rumor. That's Mike Tyson's nephew. I'm sorry. That's Sonny Liston's nephew.
Okay.
Oh, and we didn't do nothing to dismiss the rumor. No, we're not. Yeah, you want to think that we're Sonny Liston's nephew? That's what we are, because we're in you already. You're lost. You're gone already. You know, and these kids, like I said, they're looking at him, and they're saying, "Oh, what the heck?" You know, and he's playing it all to the hilt.
Right.
Staring at him. He ain't smiling.
Right. Yeah.
He didn't talk to no one but me. It was like he was playing I wish he was always that obedient. You know, he was like.
But later he wasn't, and he wasn't disciplined, and Cuss let it slide because he wanted that championship before he died.
Yeah, and listen, that's understand. Some people have tried to give me a little, I don't know, a little bit of a nice gesture and say, you know, Teddy, you stood up and you, wait a minute. It was easy for me. I was young, and I was just going according to protocol. Somebody don't obey the rules, you get out of the gym. I'd throw them out of the gym for doing things in school, because that's what I did with the other kids. The kids that weren't going to be Mike Tyson, they weren't going to make $300 million. But it was the rules. It was simple, it was black and white. It was easy for me. I was a young trainer. I was busting my backside. I was in the gym 7 days a week, doing all the work. Cuss would come maybe once every 2 weeks, just look and say, "Doing a great job, you're Bill." Oh man, that was like, that fool. He would come in and say, "Look what Atlas is doing. He's building champions. He's building a stable of fighters." And I felt, you know, I wasn't getting a cent. My father was paying for me to stay up there, you know. But
it didn't matter. You felt great.
It didn't matter. I felt great. He gave me just what I needed. Like, yeah.
And he gave you a lot of leeway. Yeah, he trusted you.
Well, yeah. I mean, listen, he had to trust me. He wasn't up to being able to do what I was doing. I was doing a day. I was training pros during the day that Jimmy Jacobs and Bill Gaten would send up. I was training them during the day, and I was training amateurs during the night. I wouldn't get home till 10 o'clock.
Wow.
And every day, cuz didn't believe in Sundays being off. And then on the weekends, driving down to the Bronx and coming back at 4 in the morning to get experience for these kids, to build them, you know? So, you know, he...
And Cuss is in his 70s at this point.
Yeah,
okay.
And, you know, but again, for me, it was simple. For me, I'm climbing. I'm just doing what I'm supposed. A guy's got to have discipline. Kids got to develop character. They have to have responsibility. They have to learn how to move after they punch, throw a stiff jab, stay tucked up. You know, control range. You know, those were all the things I'm teaching. Because always said I was a born teacher. Oh wow, okay. So I'm doing all that, and it's like I said. it's rhythmic almost. It's simple because this is what you're supposed to do. I'm not thinking that, hey, if I'm too strict with this guy, I won't get another champion. I didn't have no champions. I was just going forward in a way that I was told to go forward.
Right.
Every day was simple for me. Guy comes in late for the gym. You ain't training today. Why? Because if you don't have the discipline to be on time, you don't have the discipline to do what you're gonna have to do in the ring. Get out of here. And the coach would say, nah, that's my guy. He's a teacher. He understands it.
Right.
You know. And so I'm doing all. It's easy. Tyson's doing something wrong in school. Get out of here. You learn how to treat people. When you learn how to treat people and control yourself, then maybe someday you'll control yourself in the ring. Now you're out of the gym for a week, so it was easy because people say, oh, you were. But I wasn't better at all. Cuz had something hanging over his head, you know, that I didn't have. Age, and he knew what it was like to have fame and to have these things, and he wanted it again. For his legacy, he wanted it again. Think about it. I feel bad sometimes that I felt the way I did against Cus because I was angry, very angry. I felt betrayed.
Because he picked Tyson over you.
Yeah, I felt so betrayed. We were partners. I was his guy. One time he said to someone, this is my man. I was like, I'm his man. I'm his man. He called me the young master. I'm the young master. Oh my God. And now
he knew how to manage people.
Yeah, and
a little
now,
Kool-Aid here and there.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
But now I'm like, now he just, you know, he betrays me. And I was so hurt. I was so confused. You know, I was a young kid. I was confused. But now I understand. I say he had something hanging over his head. Where he was getting old, he had mortality. I didn't have mortality. I was immortal.
Right.
I didn't think about that crap. I was just going. I had to be in the gym at 10 o'clock the next morning to start with the pros. And then be ready at 6 o'clock at night with the kids and grab a cheeseburger in between. You know? And that was me. That was the essence of what I had to worry about. Cuz had to worry about, will we have another world champion before he dies? Will his legacy be impacted? He had nothing. He had no. He didn't get married. He told me, I married boxing. So what do you have? Where's your family? Your legacy. Your legacy. And he was racing against time to ensure that. And he had that hanging like an anvil, like in the cartoons where you have that anvil that could smash your head, drop on you. There was something real hanging over him.
Yeah.
I didn't have that. So it was easy for me to do the things I was doing because there was none of that pressure, none of that thinking of those things. I hope people say, oh, you would have made better I don't know. How do I know? Unless I'm in that position.
If he had had 10 more years, do you think he could have trained Tyson in a way where he would have fought through the pressure of Holyfield?
No, because when Tyson was a kid, one of the things he talked about, and this had nothing to do with Cus, you inherit things, right? You inherit genes, genetics, that's good, bad, whatever.
Yeah.
But you inherit other things. Tyson wasn't Tyson. Everyone saw this baddest man on the planet. I think he kind of created that term almost. They didn't use it before him. And all that stuff, and he's on the cover of Sports Illustrated, Kid Dynamite, all that stuff. But the real Tyson, the forming of Tyson, he's in a tough place in Brownsville. And when all the tough people, whether they were drug dealers, whatever they were, street guys, thugs, all the guys were around the place, there were abandoned buildings. To avoid them, he hid in between walls. I don't know if he ever came out from that. Do you ever escape that? I don't know. Do you ever escape hiding in between a wall? You know, one of the things I said to somebody one time, they were saying, how come, you know, they never noticed how weak he was. And then they started saying, oh my God, you're right. He bit Holyfield's ear to get out of there. Gee, I thought it was just to be street and be, please, wake up. Please.
That was fear.
Please. That was
making a deal.
To get out.
Get me out.
That was his escape hatch.
Right.
You know? And so I one time someone said, explain to me, Teddy. I said, listen, when you do weak things but he did a lot of weak things. I don't know if he raped that girl, but I know he did a lot of things that weren't too good. I think I think we kind of know where there's smoke, there's fire, maybe. I know this is serious stuff, so I don't want to be trivial about it, but I just know that I was told by a lot, but there was a lot of other things that money came along and all of a sudden you didn't hear about it. So how many things we didn't hear about, right? I've done some things wrong too that you didn't hear about. Right?
Fair enough.
So let's just clear the air.
Okay.
So
Me too.
Yeah, fair enough.
Right.
And so here he is, a guy that has to be when the moment comes, when the devil does come to that door, and he comes, and he knocks. You got to be ready, and you got to feel like a Viking. You got to feel like a warrior. You got to feel like a samurai. You got to feel like a strong person. How do you have that truth? How do you feel that truth? How do you have it when you've been living with lies, with weakness, when that's been your next door neighbor? How? When that moment comes, you could do it with the press, and you could do it when you power, bang, you hit a guy, boom, he's gone. Don't have to deal with that. You don't go to that place. But what happens when you get taken to that place? When somebody named Mr. Holyfield or Mr. Douglas on that particular, take you to that place. You have to feel like more than a weak person, more than a liar. You got to feel like what was Holyfield's name? The real deal?
Yeah.
You got to feel like the real deal. You got to feel like that Viking. You got to feel like that samurai, that warrior. You got to have belief. You have to have somewhere to hang your hat, somewhere to say, yeah, I'm that. And then all of a sudden, you're the guy in the wall. You're the guy doing some of these things that weren't too good.
Right.
That don't mix well when you're in that kind of place. And that's why sometimes when I talk to people and they bring me in to talk to teams and stuff, I'll go down a road that they never expected. I'll say, listen, I know we ain't no choir boys here. I know that we're not trying to be monks, going up into the mountains and stuff. But we do have to care about how we act and how we behave. First of all, it's the right thing to do. But if you want to go into your workplace, whatever it is, and there's resistance, there's difficulty, there's some of these things in that workplace that you want to go, then you got to feel like a decent person. If you're doing indecent things out there, weak things out there, lying, cheating on your wife, whatever it might be, and you think you're keeping it from the door, it's coming to the door in your workplace when that moment comes, when all of a sudden you have to feel like a strong person.
Right. And deep down inside you're not.
You have to feel like a decent person.
Right. And you
like
can't hide from yourself.
Like a person that deserves something good. Right. And you can't.
And you'll sabotage yourself if you've been making weak decisions.
Exactly. And so I say to these players, I say, get it right now. I'm not saying you gotta be, because we all got our things. I'm not saying, you gotta become Peter Pan. I'm not saying that, you have to be the perfect guy, but you have to be better. You have to be cognizant of that, because it will come to you. It will come to you. It will knock on that door. And one time I told somebody, I said, the difference between Holyfield and Tyson? Well, what's the difference? I said, the difference is when that knock comes on the door, Holyfield opens the door. Let's go. When it comes on the door, Tyson bolts it. You don't want to be bolting the door.